Hello friends, happy Thanksgiving. Welcome to another episode of the Urban Homesteading channel, midweek edition. If today is the first time you're visiting with us, we want to extend to you a very warm welcome and invite you to watch any of our over 530 videos arranged for your convenience in playlists, as we are confident you're going to find something both useful and entertaining to watch. If you have been here before, welcome back. If today is your birthday, happy birthday. So today we're going to talk about, in a vlog style, about William Eng's 5-cut method to determine accuracy on your jig, why I think it is brilliant and why I think you shouldn't use it. William Eng has developed a very brilliant way to determine the squareness of a jig or your saw, and it's called the 5-cut method. And this is how it works. Let's say we wanted to determine if this is square to our blade, which for this demonstration is down. You take a piece of material and you make 5 cuts. So you're going to make the first cut this way, makes sense? Then you're going to turn it. You're going to make another cut. You're going to turn it, make another cut, and now you've made 4 cuts, right? And then one last time, you're going to cut the side you cut before, right? So these 5 cuts will establish the squareness of your board, and then you're going to take some instrument that can give you how square your board is. For this example, we're going to use this, and you're going to come and detect if our board is square. The 5-cut method is routinely used when you're making a sled, and to make sure that your fences are exactly square to your blade. But again, they can be used for something else. For example, we could try to decide if this was square to our blade, which is just a fence for our miter saw. But here is the issue. I'm going to use this square here, and I'm going to raise my blade. Okay, so using my blade and my square, I can see if I'm square to this. Now, the 5-cut method is brilliant. William Eng did a very good job, but you should not use it, because one of the fallacies is that people say, well, this is not accurate enough. Well, this is the most accurate instrument, is a machinist square. But then, when they're done, they use the machinist square to determine if their 5-cut method works. So they take the same instrument that said is not square enough or accurate enough to make the accuracy. And to me that makes no sense. So while the method is brilliant, is unnecessary, especially since we're talking about differences that are about 5/1000th of an inch in the 5 cuts, which makes the deviation of your board, if you're 5/1000th of an inch off, 1/1000 of an inch. For woodworking, this is imperceptible, and it really makes no difference. Your project will see no ill effects if you're 1/1000th of an inch off or 1/1000 of a centimeter off. It really makes no difference. So while the method works and it's brilliant, it has some negative effects, and I've seen many people that are proponents of it making the mistake. For example, they say to attach it with screws like we have done here, and then correct it if it is not perfect, detach the screws, make it perfect, and reattach. In 1/1000 of an inch difference, the screw will go right back to the same point that it started. There is not enough variation to make a new hole. So they have to start again over. In other words, in my opinion, it introduces a lot of error possibilities and a lot of frustration. I like the method, again, it is brilliant. I just don't think for the average woodworker it makes a lot of sense. Just to put it in perspective, this is 1/1000th of an inch, And here is a very thin piece of metal in our mechanic square, and you can see the difference in size, right? I mean, I think that's visible there. Try to correct an error of this thickness for most woodworkers will be an exercise in futility. Does that make a little sense? No sense?
Yeah.
It is just, I mean, you can see the metal is not even strong enough to, you see how it flops? Not flips, flops. So what I'm saying is, do not try to do that. It makes no real difference. I'm not against the method. Again, I think William Eng is brilliant. I think his work is brilliant. The 5-cut method works, but you need equipment. For example, how you're going to measure this? The average woodworker will not have the ability to measure 1/1000th or 5/1000th of an inch difference, right? Mm-hmm. So while I think the method works, I don't think it's a reasonable way to approach woodworking. So here we are with a little simple fence, zero clearance fence that we've made for our saw, and we're using a mechanic square, and you can see that we are pretty perfect right there between our blade and our fence, which is what we want, right? We want a very clear cut. Now this instrument doesn't cost a lot of money. It's very simple to use. We're done, right? If it was mistaken, if there was a problem here, we would adjust this fence angle-wise, but that's all we have to do, right? Now, if and I need to take this out again. If we are off by this thickness, that's what I'm trying to saw it, right? Which is 2/1000ths.
1 second.
It's okay, I think they have it. If I'm off by this thickness, and I'm not, as you can see, I cannot even go in between, like it bends. Do you see that?
Yeah.
But let's say I was, let's put it. So let's see how much this thickness is. You see, you cannot even see it, right? Do you see it?
Right.
So, this is the thickness we're talking about. It is not even visible. So how are you going to correct this? That's the point I'm trying to make. How we're going to correct this error?
Right. It's too minuscule to even be concerned about, because the nature of woodworking is that things are not and microscopically perfect.
Right, and I only have that. This is part of my automotive set, and that is to check gaps on spark plugs actually, right? Most woodworkers will not have this tool, which is just a thickness measure, right? But it is we're talking about so small distances that again it is not even visible. Like I made it 1/1000 off here, but if you look at it, it doesn't look like it is off at all, right?
Right. So if we have one of these carpenter squares, we can reasonably get very, very close to perfect with both the blade and the board that you're using.
Absolutely, and we don't need a lot of equipment. I mean, this is fairly inexpensive, a piece of equipment. You can buy it anywhere. You can buy it at Harbor Freight. You can buy it at Walmart.
So we have both a larger and a smaller size.
Yeah, I have several, because when you check for square, like if you're inside if you're building a cabinet and you're between shelves, this big one will just be too big to do anything, right? So you need various sizes. So this will allow you to have a very good, definitely beyond acceptable squareness in your tools with one simple measure, right? Without having to do the 5-cut method, which again I'm not against as a method. I think William Eng is brilliant. I'm just maintaining that for the average woodworker, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. Does that make any sense or not? So at closing, I just want to be clear. There is nothing wrong conceptually with the 5-cut method. There is nothing wrong technically with the 5-cut method. The problem, as I see with the method, is that you need a lot of expensive equipment to perform it accurately, and then the dexterity you need to make adjustments of 1/1000 or 5/1000ths of an inch, it is just too great for most people to do and really unnecessary for woodworking. Additionally, if you are a beginner woodworker, it is just way too advanced a process to try that more than likely is going to discourage you for no good reason. If I'm off 1/1000th of an inch, no one will see it in my project, right? You cannot see an angle of 1/1000th of an inch. It's just not possible. It doesn't worth, in my opinion, the frustration and the expense that you will need to go to make this perfect of a cut in woodworking, where the heat of the blade generated in a cut will probably bend the blade more than 1/1000th of an inch, just the difference in temperature. In other words, there are a lot of things that will take your project outside these parameters. Again, he's a master woodworker, he has an engineering background, a brilliant way to make sure something is perfect. And if you're in something like a professional equipment or a production area and you need perfection for whatever reason, maybe it's not even in woodworking at all, but let's say that you are a machinist and you're working with metal, then it makes a difference because metal is not forgiving at all, right? I mean, but even there I think it's overkill, because if you put a welding bit, it will cover 1/1000 of an inch. It is not a big deal. Anything you want to add, ladies?
No.
No?
I think we know what, the recommendation is.
So again, as we said when we started, a brilliant way. William Eng is a brilliant guy, but don't use it. It will drive you insane. We hope you did enjoy this short episode, and if you did, we'd appreciate a thumbs up. If you didn't, the other button works as well. Share, like, subscribe if you have not done so, and let us know what you would like to see in future episodes. From Dr. Wizard, Mrs. Wizard, Elpida, and the Urban Homesteading channel, stay safe, put your masks on, wash your hands, and we're going to see you soon. Farewell, friends.